These foil packets of salmon are one of the easiest things you'll ever make. It's really high in protein and it has a bunch of healthy fats. This is perfect for anyone that doesn't have a lot of time and just wants to throw something in the oven, come back, and have a healthy, delicious meal waiting for you. Today I'll be making a dill and lemon salmon. First, let's prep our vegetables. We'll need a red onion. This is completely optional, but onions just make everything better. And if you don't like onions, then we probably can't be friends. Just kidding. Leave them out if you don't like them. We'll cut the top and the bottom off of the onion, then in half, and I'll peel the outer layer. The onion was a little dirty, so I'm just going to give it a quick wash. We'll cut the onion from root to stem into slices. The thickness doesn't really matter, it's completely up to you. For mine, I'm not going super thin because they will get smaller as they cook down. When you're near the end of the onion, instead of struggling to cut that last slice, you can just flip it on the side that you cut, and then it'll be a lot easier to slice the last bit. I'll finish up slicing the rest of the onion, and I'll just push it to the side for now. Next we'll need some garlic. I'm using about 4 or 5 cloves here. We'll use the knife to smash the garlic to help it make it easier to peel. Once all the garlic is peeled, we'll chop up the garlic. Same as the onions, it doesn't really matter what size of garlic we use. It's more for just giving the salmon some more flavor. When I'm cutting up a lot of garlic like this, I just like to cut them into small slices first. Once they're in little slices, I'll just chop through all of them. Next we'll need some lemon slices to place on the salmon. We'll only really need about half of this lemon here. I'll cut the little nub off the one end, and then cut them into thin slices. Try to cut the slices as thin as possible. We'll need about 3 slices for each piece of salmon. And we're done prepping all of our vegetables. Now for the salmon. I'm using this giant fillet I have here, and it still has its skin on. It's pretty thick, and it might take longer to cook than the salmon that you're gonna use. Just keep that in mind for now. Since it's really long and it won't fit on a sheet pan, I'll cut it in half. This is a good time to preheat the oven, so I'll preheat it to 375 Fahrenheit, and we'll let it get hot while we prep the foil packets. I like to do this step now directly on a sheet pan. Grab a sheet pan that's large enough to hold the salmon. We'll grab some tin foil and roll out a sheet large enough to hold our fillets. Since the salmon that I'm using is pretty big, I'm going to just do this one at a time. Now I have some dill here, and we'll be using it as a base for our salmon. I'm just going to give it a quick wash, and I'll place some here in the middle of the foil. This will help spread that beautiful dill flavor throughout the salmon. We won't use all of it, because we'll also put some on the top after. Next we'll lay on one of our salmon fillets on top of the dill, and we'll drizzle on some olive oil. Season generously with salt and pepper. Don't forget about the sides. If your salmon's a little thinner, you might not need to season it as much. And I'll give the salmon a rub to spread out the oil and seasonings. I'm grabbing half of the onions, and then I'll be spreading them all over the salmon, breaking up the clumps as I spread them out. Same with the garlic. I'll be using half of it, and I'll be spreading it all over. I'll put some more dill sprigs on top, just to maximize the flavor. I'll add 3 of our lemon slices, and I'll finish it off with a little bit more olive oil. Even looking at the salmon right now, it looks so awesome. There's so many different colors, all the different aromatics, and I honestly cannot wait to eat this. All there's left to do is to wrap up the salmon. I like to start off with the horizontal side, fold it in. I'll do the same on the other side, and then fold in the edges. We don't want any of the liquid from the salmon to seep out when we're baking this. We also don't want any exposed holes. So if you see any, grab another sheet of aluminum foil, and then we'll wrap up that top part as well. Although if you had a long enough sheet of foil at the beginning, you probably won't need another one. So that's one foil packet down. I'll do the other one now as well. But before that, I put a lot of effort into making these videos to show you that cooking at home is a lot easier than you think. I would greatly appreciate it if you showed your support by subscribing and leaving a comment below. Thank you very much. Now we'll do the exact same steps as we did earlier. We'll have a layer of dill as the base. Lay your salmon fillet on top of the dill. Drizzle on some olive oil. Season with salt and pepper. And this one I actually forgot the pepper. I must have been thinking about something else. And that's why I like making this salmon so much, because you don't really need to follow a recipe, and you can somewhat multitask like watching a podcast or hanging out with your family. It's definitely one of the best things when you're cooking easy meals. Go in with the rest of the onions, breaking them up as you go. Try to spread them out evenly. Next the garlic, some more sprigs of dill, and then some lemon slices. Wrap up the salmon in the foil. And here are the 2 foil packets of salmon. Your oven should be preheated now. The baking time will depend on the thickness of your salmon. The one that I used is about maybe an inch thick, and it probably took around 20 minutes in total to cook all the way through. If your salmon fillet is really thin, it might only take about 12 minutes, and if you're not sure, just take it out at 10 minutes and see how it's doing. And here's mine after 12 minutes just to see how it's doing. And on the outside it looks like it's cooked, but I wanted to check at its thickest point to see if it cooked through. I do still see some pink, so I'll close this back up and we'll pop it back in the oven. Since it was still pretty pink on the thickest part, I'll let it bake for another 6 or 7 minutes or so. Once it's done baking, I'll unravel it again and check the thickest part, and this time it's cooked all the way through. And I'll unravel the second packet as well, and there it is. The dill and lemon foil packets of salmon. Feel free to squeeze in some more lemon if you want, and you can just discard all the dill that's there. Taste-wise, it is just so fantastic. The dill flavor really got into the salmon, and all the aromatics play so beautifully together. I hope you've enjoyed the video and learned something new. Let me know if you made this, and how did it turn out. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.